Be silent and be upstanding. For the Right Worshipful, the Ceremonial Mayor of the City of Salford, Councillor Anne-Marie Humphreys.
Good afternoon, everybody. Please be seated. So, good afternoon, everybody, and a really warm welcome to this very special meeting of Salford City Council. We are here today to confer the honorary Freedom of the City for the late Mr Alan Henning posthumously. I would especially like to welcome the family and friends of Alan Henning. It's a great honour for me, as the first citizen, to welcome you all to this chamber, and I know I speak on behalf of the whole city when I say what a great, kind and selfless man Alan was. We are delighted to bestow this honour, and we all know that his memory and legacy will endure in the hearts and minds of all Salfordians. So thank you very, very much for being here. I'm just now going to go through a few formal proceedings. So the first item is announcements or special business. I have not been notified of any items of special business. Secondly, we just need to note if there are any apologies for today's meeting.
Yes, we received apologies from Councillors Amana Gola, Boschel, Clark, Cohen, Karen Garrido and Robin Garrido, Jones, Keeley, Lancaster, Merry, Morris, Mullen, Everett and Warmisham.
Thank you. I now just need to check. Oh, sorry.
Rebecca Long Bailey sends us sincerest apologies due to a family emergency.
Thank you. So now I just need to check declarations of interest. Do any members have any personal, prejudicial or disclosable pecuniary interests that they need to declare at this meeting? In which case, can I ask those members to declare them now, please? Thank you. So now we will move on to the main business today. And so I would now like to ask the City Mayor to speak while we do this honour of the freedom of the city for Alan Henning posthumously. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. It's my honour and privilege today to propose this posthumous recognition for Alan Henning as Freeman of the City of Salford. As we all know, Alan was tragically murdered on the 13th of October 2014 after leaving his hometown in Eccles in December 2013 to join a humanitarian aid mission as a volunteer aid worker to help the vulnerable and destitute people of Syria who were living through the traumas and horrors of a brutal war. Alan will always remain in our thoughts, in our hearts and in our prayers. He will always be remembered as a proud son of Salford, someone who was truly selfless, courageous and inspirational to each and every one of us, who tragically paid the ultimate sacrifice, whilst representing, in my opinion, and epitomising the true spirit of Salford. Alan was born and lived in Eccles with his family, working as a taxi driver. He was a much loved and respected taxi driver, known locally and colloquially as Gadget or Gadge by his friends. And he was always seen as a very practical and also someone who was brilliant at fixing things. Alan was deeply moved by the plight of the innocent and vulnerable people, families and children in Syria, and began to raise funds and supplies to help alleviate their suffering and support the people of Syria in the most desperate and darkest of times. Alan then took the incredibly brave decision to travel to Syria with an overwhelming urge to help the people of Syria, putting aside his own fears to provide not only humanitarian aid, but also comfort and support to help and support the children, young and vulnerable people of Syria. We have seen many times the lovely and heart-wrenching picture of Alan holding a small Syrian child. And despite all the worry surrounding them and the risks associated with being in Syria at that time, Alan in this picture looks so happy to be there, to be helping, supporting and contributing to that international effort. And for the child in the picture that we all fondly remember, it would have been a moment when that child felt protected, felt safe, felt cared for, and importantly, felt loved. A true demonstration of the spirit of Salford by one of our much loved and inspirational Salfordians. Alan was cruelly taken from us at the young age of 47, and I know that he continues to be missed every single day by his friends and his family. The Memorial Garden at Eccles Recreation Ground remains a place that we can all remember Alan, a permanent reminder of the sacrifice that Alan made in support of the innocent Syrian people caught up in the horrors of war, something many of us never directly experience and often only ever read of when at school. But today we celebrate Alan's life and we honour him for the truly caring, compassionate, selfless and inspirational man he was and continues to be within our city and beyond. Many people call Alan a hero, not just locally, but also around the country and the world. Alan was the true embodiment of someone who selflessly showed courage, determination and commitment, even in the face of extreme adversity and personal risk, motivated by an overwhelming desire to help innocent people savaged by war. Today, and beyond today, we will never forget Alan. But we also must never forget the reason why Alan went to Syria and how he was taken from us for being what we should all be, selfless and caring. It is a real honour and a privilege to propose this special honour posthumously for Alan Henning in recognition of his great kindness, his compassion, his humility. Alan truly epitomises the spirit of Salford, and we will all make sure he is never forgotten. I'd also like to thank Alan's family, with all of my heart, thought and prayers, for allowing us, the City Council, in his home city, to recognise him in this way, and accepting the title of Freeman of the City of Salford for a beloved family man. The greatest honour that this City Council can bestow upon any of our citizens in our great city. I propose this nomination. Thank you.
Thank you, City Mayor, for proposing the motion. Can I now ask Councillor Sharmina August to second the motion, please?
Thank you, Chair. As the City Mayor says, freedom of the city is the highest honour the Council can bestow on anybody. And it's only given to somebody who has made significant, outstanding contributions and has enhanced the reputation of Salford across the world. And I can't think in recent times of anybody who has done more for the international reputation of Salford than Alan Henning. He embodies, as the City Mayor said, the real spirit of Salford. And Alan was a devoted husband, doting father, and a remarkable humanitarian. His love and compassion extended beyond limits of convenience, beyond the comfortable limits that we all live by. It extended far beyond national borders, and it encompassed everybody, anywhere, who needed help. And that requires a compassion we all hope to possess, but few of us are brave enough to show it and make it a part of our lives and a part of who we are. But Alan possessed that kind of bravery, that commitment in helping in whatever way was needed, simply because it was needed. And to my mind, that is the truest definition of courage. And it was this courage that led Alan to deliver food and aid and support to those people, those children, those families in Syria, to offer some measure of relief for people in unbearable conditions and circumstances. Alan ultimately gave his life to help people far away from his home in Eccles. A true humanitarian who cared about people even beyond his own safety. And I know how immensely proud his family are of Alan's legacy and how difficult this has been for them. With their strength and dignity and courage remains as inspirational to me as Alan's example to everybody is. And though Alan might not be here to meet the new generations of his family, they will always know what a remarkable and amazing grandfather they have, because the entire city of Salford is firmly united behind this one fact, that Alan represented the best of us. He lived a life of compassion and love and will forever be remembered as a hero. We're here today to support the proposing of Alan to receive the Freedom of Salford. And there are two qualifications for such an award, and they are having delivered in a way that has brought distinction to the borough and enhanced the city's reputation in the area of activity concerned, and contributed in a way to improve the lives of those less able to help themselves. And quite frankly, it's almost as if the criteria has been written with Alan in mind. They fit him and his life, dedicated to aiding others so perfectly. Alan spent his last moments in chains, captive, and it is my honour today to ask that here, in his home, which remains so very proud of him, that he is forever granted freedom in this city, and that Alan Henning's legacy, a legacy of profound love for his fellow human beings, is celebrated as it always should be. Your home, Alan, will always be proud of you and grateful for your example. I wholeheartedly second this motion, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor August. Could I now ask Mrs Barbara Keeley, Member of Parliament for Worsley and Eccles South, to say a few words, please?
Thank you. Thank you, Ceremony Mayor. I'm proud to be here today with you to give further honour to Alan Henning's memory as he is posthumously awarded the freedom of the City of Salford. His mission to help children in Syria was a remarkable one, as we've been hearing, as he repeatedly ignored his own safety to take aid to those most affected. On his 4th trip to Syria, he was kidnapped and murdered by militant terrorists. It is right that his life and his sacrifice should be marked with this formal award by the city in which he was born and lived all his life. Born in Eccles in 1967, Alan spent his life in Salford with his family. Alan worked as a taxi driver. His customers have described him as a very special man with a heart of gold, one of life's gentlemen, and said, "I will always remember his kindness." Those who knew him remember him being kind and funny. He learned about the civil war in Syria and the terrible conditions that people were suffering. People talked to him about the vital aid that was being transported to Syria directly to the people affected and displaced by the terrible war. Alan began to fundraise for the aid convoys by washing cars, among other ways of fundraising. He soon decided that was not enough and that he wanted to take direct action. With money he raised and his own savings, he bought former NHS ambulances, which he renovated and then filled with vital supplies, such as medical equipment, a generator, nappies, baby milk and food. He planned to leave the ambulances in Syria after his trips there to be used by those who needed them. Dr. Shamila Islam Zulkafar, who travelled with Alan on several convoys, said, "Alan is remarkable. He's such a compassionate and selfless human being. It just simply wasn't enough for Alan to sit back and just donate or raise awareness. He had to get up and he had to do something about what he'd seen." Now, the drive from Salford to Syria takes more than a week and covers 3,000 miles. Alan made this journey 4 times. Convoy members recounted how he slept in his ambulance to save money on a hotel so that he could give the cost of the hotel fees to Syrian people that he met. On one of his early trips to Syria, Alan visited a refugee camp, and he later told BBC News during an interview that visiting that camp had changed his life and he had felt drawn back to help those in need. On 26th of December 2013, during his 4th trip to Syria, Alan was kidnapped by masked terrorists 20 minutes after he crossed the border from Turkey. His kidnappers must have known that he was an aid volunteer. His ambulance was filled with water and food, ready to be delivered directly to the people who needed it. Alan, as we've heard, was held in captivity for many months, and his kidnapping was not made public in the UK until 9 months later. I know that that was a terrible time for your family. In October 2014, of course, we learned that Alan had been murdered. After his death, his family said, "Alan was a decent, caring human being. His interest was in the welfare of others. He will be remembered for this, and we as a family are extremely proud of him and what he achieved and the people he helped." And his wife Barbara had said that some people thought Alan was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but she said he was in the right place at the right time. Alan's friend who travelled with him on the convoy, Majid Freeman, described Alan as a selfless, humble, courageous individual. He was helping the innocent people the rest of the world had abandoned. In tribute, former US President Barack Obama said, "Mr. Henning worked to help improve the lives of the Syrian people, and his death is a great loss for them, for his family, and the people of the United Kingdom." I and many others said at that time, "We have lost a local hero." After his death, Alan continues to inspire others, and tens of thousands of pounds have been raised in his memory for the support of those for whom he cared so much. It is important that we remember Alan and the sacrifice that he made, as he gave so much of himself to help others. I raised Alan's case whenever possible in Parliament, including at Prime Minister's questions, and I wanted to see him honoured the way he is being honoured today. Alan wanted to help the Syrian people, so he went there, but then he chose to return again and again and again, making that long overland journey, delivering aid directly to those in desperate need. His compassion and his selflessness were extraordinary. In Salford and across the world, Alan leaves a great and lasting legacy as a humanitarian. He is an inspiration, showing us all that we can and should help people who are in need, no matter where in the world they live and no matter their race or religion.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Can I now ask that Council votes on the motion, please? Can we all say? Thank you. The motion is carried unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Ceremonial Mayor. It falls to me to now ask Alan's family to come forward to accept the award on behalf of Alan and to sign the declaration confirming the acceptance of the freedom of the City of Salford. I'll then be joined by both our mayors to sign the declaration ourselves and to pass that to the family, and I will come down for those proceedings. Thank you. Yep, leave those three. Thank you all, and I'll now present you with the scroll. With the very best wishes of the city and in fond remembrance. Thank you, everybody. I'll just invite Adam to just say a few brief words at the table as well.
There's not a lot more I could say about my dad that hasn't already been said, except to say how proud I am of him and that I miss him every day. I'd like to take this chance to thank everyone for the love and support shown to our family, especially the people of Salford, also to Salford City Council, who have made sure my dad is remembered. Firstly, with a memorial at the local park, and also the award we've given today. I am honoured to receive this award on behalf of my dad. I would also like to thank our family and friends who have attended this special event today.
Well, thank you everybody. That was a great honour to be a part of, and we can see what an emotional day it is for you. So, yes, wonderful day, and your Alan's legacy will live forever, I'm sure, in the hearts and minds of us all, as I said. So that now formally concludes the ceremony today, and I'd like to invite you all to join me for afternoon tea, which will be served in the Salford Suite. So thank you very much for your attendance on this very special day. Thank you.